Hello, YouTube land, and welcome again to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 71. I am your host, Dantes, and joining me, like always, Caleones. How you doing, Caleones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And yeah, basically, what we're gonna be talking about is, if you haven't seen the thumbnail yet, there is a really big phase on top of a cloud on our thumbnail. Basically, is the views of that person, and which is shared by other people as well, and how that affects the gaming as a whole. But yes, we're gonna be talking about Smash Brothers and other people that have taken certain liberties with playing the game early. So for now, Dantes, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, let's start this show. Let's do that rigmarole quick so we can discuss this big subject, of course. I want to welcome everybody to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 71, right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make this two crazy MS happy. Also, remember, you can get this podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes for free. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, go to the description box below so you can see the full channel schedule. I know we're being off. We haven't been doing a lot of content lately except this show. But you have to understand, we got a lot of work to do and the holidays. So it's been tough to keep up. Hopefully in January, to give you an example, me and Caninas had a long discussion before this show. Things will change in this channel immensely. I'm telling you, immensely is going to be huge. Also, Facebook page at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to forceinunison.wordpress.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. I'm a little bit rusty. With all that said, are you guys ready? I said, are you ready? For the no one in attendance and the 8 people watching around the world, let's get ready for Reggie's Hot Topics of the Week.
My body is ready.
My body is ready, and Caleones, take us away with the first hot, sizzling topic of the week.
So yes, the biggest topic of the week, the one that is, like you said, the hottest one. It is the hottest one because there were a lot of people. There was like no middle ground when it came to this. You either were on one side of the spectrum or the other, and the people were, like really vocal when it came to it. So we're talking about, the Smash Brothers being sold early down in Mexico out of the retailer. So they decided to sell it early. People bought it. Okay, that's fine, whatever. But then people started to extract the ROMs from the game. The ROMs made it online. People got the ROMs and they started playing the game early. And not only playing it early, but also providing links to where you can get those ROMs and get the game as well. One of those people, of course, was Erika. And he was very vocal about it. He had the streams. He was talking about it on Twitter. And one of the things that he was saying is that he had already, kind of like pre-purchased 2 copies of the game. So, of course, because he already had paid for 2 copies, that he was entitled to be able to play the game early because he already paid for it. So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Certain things, I don't think there's a gray area. There may be a gray area in certain things, but I feel very strongly when it comes to those things. I don't really support it. I want to get what Dantes thinks about it, and of course from people on the chats as well, what you guys think about it. But Dantes, go ahead and tell us more about this subject.
Well, Caleones, I wanted to really open the floor first to you because you were in Twitter, you were having those discussions. I want you to give me your perspective, explain it to me, and why you feel so strongly one way or the other. Because in Twitter, it was perfectly explained by you why you feel that is not acceptable, that you're playing the game sooner, you're pirating the game basically, even though this person reserved 2 copies, supposedly, of the game. But anyway, go ahead, Kyle.
Okay, so let's put it this way. One of the things that we talked about last week was about the lawsuit that Nintendo had with the couple. The week before that one, about the $12 million lawsuit. And that this was because they had kind of like an MU, something similar to like MU Paradise, and they had the websites with different ROMs for Nintendo games, and that They were not only having the games there and hosting on the server so people could download them, but they had ads and things like that. So they were making money off of it as well. But the biggest thing was that I know how people talk about those games. They talk about preservation. That some of those games you cannot even get them at all nowadays. So it's very hard to if you want to get your hands on them and if you can, I mean, they could cost in theory hundreds of dollars to get games for the NES, Super NES, and games that are no longer available to be purchased. I know that Nintendo does have the Virtual Console. They do have the Nintendo Switch Online now with NES games. So some of those games you can still get, but I do understand that there's other games that you are not able to get, and in some reason, yeah, like they help you in a way to be able to preserve the games and for you to be able to play and enjoy it. Okay, so I'm not really. You were talking about how you understood the lawsuit, even though if you were Nintendo, you would not have done it because it puts them in a bad limelight. Like it's something that is when it comes to that specifically, it's not worth fighting for because it tarnishes their name more than they gain from
What happened to
from.
Metallica? Give you an
Mhm.
example.
Yeah, so you gave that example, with Napster and Metallica and all of that. So, um, but when it comes to this specifically, yes, we're talking about ROMs, but we're talking about Smash Brothers. Yeah, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, a game that still hasn't even come out. That if you want to play the game, there's hundreds of thousands or millions of Nintendo Switches out there that you can get and you can buy the game. There's going to be over 10 million copies of the game, so you can get it if you want to play it. But people are downloading the ROM, they're playing it online, they're spoiling the game, the story, and things like that for other people. So not only are they kind of like doing a disservice because they're playing something that is pirated, which is illegal, but at the same time they're spoiling the story for a lot of other people that haven't played it that they don't want it to do any they don't want anything to do with it until the game comes out and they can experience it for themselves. So the biggest thing about this is that a game hasn't come out yet. B, you're spoiling it, spoiling the experience to other people. And C, in the case of Erika and others, they had links on their description where you could actually go and get the ROM for the game. So they're even promoting the piracy of the games. I know that Erika said that he had already purchased 2 copies, and it's pre-purchased because the game hasn't come out yet. I mean, it won't come out for another 5 days. This Friday, but in a way that he was entitled to play the game early because he had already paid for it. And I wanted to say that that's not how it works. That's not how things work. If you pay for something, like let's say if you like the models like the Tesla models where some of those you have to order. It takes some time for them to be made, and then you can get the vehicle. If you pay for something, do you have to right to like break into the store, get the keys, and drive off of the vehicle if you haven't been authorized to do so? No, that's illegal. No, you cannot do it. If you go to Walmart and you go to the website and you buy something online right now, are you entitled to go over to the store, grab it from the shelf, and walk away because you already purchased it online? No, you have to go through the process. And when it comes to video games, there is a street day. There is things that you have to to go through for the game. I know that in his case, he bought it. I believe he bought the digital copies, not the physical ones. So he still has to wait until the game becomes available online so he can unlock and he can start playing it. But piracy is not the way to go. It is clearly outlined that it is illegal, and especially on a game that is easily available for anyone that wants to get it. If you are not willing to buy a Nintendo Switch system to play the game, then you don't really want to play the game. I mean, if you really want to play a game, then unless if you're in a country that the system is banned or that you're going through some like financial hardship that you cannot get it, I'm not gonna say steal it. Just try to get everything in order, save for it, and once you can, go ahead and do it. But don't steal. Pirating is stealing, and that's what he's doing, and that's what he was promoting to other people as well.
Okay, so you made a good case, Caleones. Appreciate that. Let me put it. I'm gonna put it in the basis as I understand the law. Let's take away gray area. I'm gonna talk black and white. My understanding how the law works is that you can have a ROM if you own the game if you downloaded the ROM through your own hardware. So what I mean with that is that you had the program, you took the Smash Bros. Ultimate, you downloaded the ROM from your physical copy and downloaded to your computer. That is what I understand. Please correct me in the chat. Anybody who wants to stop by and tell me how the law works, please. This is my understanding. A lot of people confuses that if you own the game, you can get the ROM from whatever website. It does not work like that. You have to use your own copy of, give you an example. I love the Dolphin because it makes Wii games in HD, something that a lot of those games are lacking, right? And the games that I've downloaded from the Wii to play those in HD, I've maintained this, games that I own just because of my way of thinking that, hey, I've owned this game, I should download it. But even then, I'm breaking the law because I am not downloading it from my own ISO file from my disk of the game to the computer. I'm telling you the truth. I didn't do it because I didn't have the program. Then it was easier for me to just download it from a site than doing the work myself. But every download ROM that I have from my Dolphin, like Pandora's Tower, like Xenoblade, like Last Story, like Luigi's Mansion, like Mario Sunshine, like Mario Galaxy, all of those games, I own them, right? But I already had the copy. I already played them through the original version and then played them. The reason I wanted to express that is I'm trying to take the black gray area. Now we go to the gray area like I was explaining. Game preservation, and it's worth it getting some of those games. And then I said that Nintendo was wrong into, fighting this battle because it's going to make him look bad, like happened with Metallica, right? But this case, I have to give the side of that I'm in the side that this is wrong. And let me explain what I mean. The game has not come out at all. At all. It's not officially been out. Yeah, it broke the street date. You can easily say, I'm owning the game in a couple of weeks. I can play it ahead of time. Fine. You know what? It's your Switch. You own the risk. If you want to pirate the game, you own the risk. If you want to play it on a Switch that is hacked, you own the risk that Nintendo can kick you out if they find a way to get all the hackers out of the system, which I know they're finding ways. Probably going to get a new version soon of the Nintendo Switch to stop just that. But here's the thing. If you're doing that, why in the hell are you putting the site out, like Caleones said, for people to download the game, telling them where they could find it? Do it yourself. Stay quiet. You own the Switch. You can do whatever you want with the system with the repercussions that it may happen. But then now we're going to the black and to the gray area where it is about, is it right or wrong? Because you're spoiling the game for people. You just want to grow your YouTube channel because I'm guessing, I don't know if it happened for real or not. Etika lost his channel, I believe, because he tried to upload some porn, and whatever happened, his channel was shut down. So maybe he's trying to build a new channel now with Smash, saying, I have the first copy of Smash. Come find me. Again, you take your risk on it. But I believe that morally, that's wrong because of those things. Because you are giving the site away for people to find it. If people really want to find it, they should find it themselves. They should figure out themselves. At the same time, the game has not come out. You're giving this link away. People may download the game, right? And then not buy the game. When they were originally going to buy the game and they say, oh, I found a way now to pirate the game. Why in the hell am I not going to buy the game? Then Nintendo's going to lose revenue. The reason I'm against the part of game preservation, how Nintendo is attacking in that case, is because Nintendo has not given us a proper solution to all games. There's a solution for this. You buy the freaking game. Right, Caleones? There's no gray area. You just buy the game and you put it in the system because it's a new game. The solution is buying the Switch, buying the game. For old games like the NES, Super NES, a lot of classics that have been lost in time, that the companies have gone under, Nintendo has not given us a right solution yet. So that's why I get mad at Nintendo for doing this. But I understand in this case scenario why it's not morally right to do this, because there is a solution to play the game, and it's called the Nintendo Switch. So the defenders of Etika who came through were like, yeah, Etika is going to buy the game. They are going to own 2 copies. So what? You're trying to justify something that is morally wrong. Oh, let Etika play the game, and and then we know, and then you can show the game, and because people, and it's mostly the Smash community, don't have patience. So they're trying to justify that it's okay. Let me put it this way, and I'm sorry about that. I don't want to put them all together because I know there's a lot of Smash players that are against what Etika and others, not to, just point fingers at Etika, but he's the most famous one. But Etika and others are doing. There's Smash players who are saying that this is wrong. But the ones that are like, no, who cares? It's either A, they can't have patience to wait until December 7th for the game, and they want to see what's going on. And B, they're Etika fans or the person who's streaming fans, right? And if this is the way to make a name for yourself, hey, good looking out, player. Honestly, I'm gonna say, because it's your prerogative. You want to do it, good for you. But this channel here with Caleones and I, right? I believe that we would never do something like that just to grow the channel, because I think we would feel dirty about it. Because in reality, I don't want to be associate, because I'm teaching, like he's teaching, the next generation to do the right thing, to be responsible. And this is something that to me, it's okay, fine, you want to break the law, that's on you. But keep it on yourself. Play the game on yourself. Enjoy it. And if you don't want to buy the game later on, hey, good for you. That's on you. But keep it on yourself. Don't promote the game being out. Don't explain where you can find the game. Don't stream the game, because people want to be really surprised about this game. That's how I see it. I want to be surprised about the game. Now, my excitement for the game, because December is going to be rough for me, is run down, admittedly, for me. So I have patience. I can play the game a little bit later when I know I can have breathing room to play it. But I know some people can't wait, Caleones. But anyway, in conclusion for me, just to end this long rant, in conclusion for me, it's as simple as, what is the law? Baseline. My understanding, to clarify the law, is that you have to download the ROM for your own physical copy. So right out of the bat, it's breaking. Now we go into, does Nintendo has the right to fight this because of their name? On game preservation, I explained that I believe they're in the wrong fight until they give a proper solution for that. Since Nintendo's not giving a proper solution, then no. But on this, then you have a proper solution, then there's no right for you to download the game and play it. Even if you bought 20 copies, unless you download the game from yourself. I am okay. Caleones, let me put it this way. I'm okay if you bought the game and there's an emulator for the Switch on the computer that comes out that makes the game runs better, that you're going to run it in 4K 60. I'm okay with that. Take your copy. You want a better performance, do it in the computer. I'm not okay with you using the same Switch to download the pirate game and play it there, and then maybe not even buy the game. Because doesn't make sense to me. Why would you download a ROM? Right? Even if you say, I have the copy, I'm going to download the ROM and then put it on my Switch. Why? You just take the game card, put it on your Switch. There's no difference. Again, the only thing I'm okay with is if there's an emulator out there, which is not there yet for the Switch, emulator out there that makes the game runs better, then you take your ROM, your physical ROM, pass the game on your computer, and then play on your computer. I think that's fine with me. But anyway, that long rant, I don't know if you have anything to add. What is up, Shelby TNM? Welcome to the stream.
Okay, so I went ahead and went over to Twitter, and some of the comments that people were making in support of Etika. So this is just reading a couple. So they say he bought it beforehand and he isn't stealing it. Nintendo does not lose a copy of the game from him playing early. How many times do I have to say this? Okay, technically, yes, he's stealing it because it's not his ROM from his own game. He's doing it
It
from
is not.
another one.
By the law, it is
Yeah.
not. He has not passed the ROM from his own copy to the computer or to the Switch. So
Yeah. And he may not lose the sale because he's supposedly he's going to buy two of them. He could, in theory, end up canceling one of them. I mean, we don't know that, but let's say that he keeps both of the copies and he, still purchases them. But by him promoting the links, by him telling people where he can get it from, he can keep other people from buying the game. And in essence, Nintendo is losing money because of this. Or people that were waiting on getting Smash, and the only reason they want to get the Nintendo Switch is because of Smash. They may not get the Switch at all because they say, instead of me spending $300 on buying the system to get the game, now I don't have to get the system because I can still just get the game without it. So that's another thing. And Nintendo not only loses money on the system, but the prospect of that person owning a Switch and buying more games as well, because that's how companies make the game. They make money by the games, selling games, and that's something that this has talked about. The companies that they win generation is not necessarily the one that sells the most consoles; it's the one that sells the most games. Another comment on here. Again, learn what stealing is. That would mean that he took something that someone else would have paid for. No one else is buying the second version of Smash he has downloaded. If I'm a kid, you're a fetus because this is common knowledge. Yeah, he's talking about common knowledge, but he doesn't really know what stealing really is. It's not his copy of the game that he took the ROM from. And of course, even if he took it from his own copy of the game, he's sharing it with other people as well. So as soon as he shares it, he's breaking the law. So just from another one here, the pirated copy is the same as the version that you already have downloaded. It is the same exact thing that couldn't have been brought in the first place. You don't get charged for downloading something you already own. Again, missing the point. It is not the same as your own version because it's from a different version of the game. It is not from your own game. So I mean, it's just a bunch of people just saying anything just so they can justify being able to get the game, or at the very least, even if they, because some people may have not downloaded the ROM from Smash, but because this is one of their favorite YouTubers or personalities, they'll just say anything to defend them. I know in my case, I may defend Nintendo when it comes to certain things, and Dantes and I, we've disagreed on certain things, but on something that is completely clear like this, I mean, there's no way to defend it. I know that on the lawsuit that we talked about, the $12 million, I was saying, hey, it's okay because one, I believe they're not going to end up paying the $12 million, and two, it's just something that Nintendo's trying to do so they can scare off other people from doing it. But Dantes said, for him, even though it is legally their right to do it, but morally they're probably in the wrong when it comes to it. So yeah, so those are the things that we may agree or disagree with, but on this, it's just crystal clear. It is stealing. It is distributing, stolen products as well. And because you are somebody that a lot of people follow, that a lot of people look up to, and in a way, you're justifying to them that piracy is okay and that they can do it as well. And that's, that's what my, one of the biggest complaints that I have on here. But guys, just wait 5 more days. It's just 5 more days until the game comes out. I already have it pre-ordered. Dantes is gonna be picking it up, I believe, on the first day as well when it comes out. Just wait. It's just Friday.
Well, I am, but it's gonna be a Christmas gift. But yeah, I am. Anyway.
Okay. So is the Christmas gift gonna be open on the 7th or the 25th?
The 15th. I'll explain later. Yeah. I want to end this too by saying that I know, me and Caleones doesn't see eye to eye in the part of the ROM discussion for all games, but this one, I believe, is clear cut. I just don't see why are we even questioning it? Is it piracy or not? Right? It is. If you download it, it is. It's not your game. It is a new game. It's gonna come out soon. Just wait. Don't promote it too. Again, it's just bad. Oh, this is the last. Now I remember that I was trying to find it. You know what's sad? If you want to pirate a game like Star Wars Battlefront because of their loot boxes and microtransactions, go ahead, do it. I really not gonna. Even though, again, I know the law, and I'm saying that's wrong. I don't care because a company that does what they're doing, who cares? Buy it used. I would also recommend to buy it used. Don't buy their game new. But Nintendo with Smash, which is basically no DLC to come out. There's DLC, I know, but there's no DLC to come out. It's a complete game for over 70 characters in the game for a fighting game. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you hurt Nintendo? The other positive that is going to come out of this is, Erika, good. You're going to get blacklisted by Nintendo. Telling you right now. Even if you grow big or whatever, again, you're going to get blacklisted. That's fine. The community doesn't need, see my voice a little bit, the community doesn't need people like you. So, anyway, that's what I'm going to end it with. Unless you want anything to say, we can go to the next piece of news.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, well, guys, just say goodbye to Erika and say hello to RX Gaming. RX Gaming is going to be the one taking over right after him. And he's not going to be stealing ROMs. I can guarantee you that. I hope. Right, RX? Well, we'll talk about that later. But yes, ready to go to the next subject, Dantes?
Yep, ready to roll. And the next one is a really positive news, I believe so.
Okay, so yeah, and that's one of the things that... I'll get a bottle
of water while you do it. Talk about it.
Yeah, so HSNYC mentioned that on here, and the Nintendo Gaming Zone talked about it as well. And this is the one of the biggest news of the week, and a positive one. And it is that Nintendo will indeed be ending the Nintendo Creators Program, and that's going to be at the end of December 2018. Yes, you're welcome, HSNYC. Yes, it is a big one, so we had to talk about it here. But this is one that when me and my kids, Inkling G and Inkling B, they started with the Toys and More Club channel. We were part of the Nintendo Creators Program, and the way that it was done is that you had two different splits. One, if you subscribe your entire channel under Nintendo, you would get like all the videos would have to be Nintendo videos. You cannot have any other videos from any other company. And at the same time, you would have a 70-30 split. Basically, if your channel made any type of revenue, you would keep 70% and Nintendo would keep the other 30% from it. If instead of doing your entire channel as part of the Nintendo Creators Program and you would do individual videos, then by doing individual videos, then yes, you could have Nintendo and other companies as well as part of your video. So you can have Sony, Microsoft, etc. But instead of the split being 70-30, then it would be 60-40. So if you submitted your only video, you have to go over to the Nintendo Creators Program, submit it over there. It would take maybe like a day or so until it would be like registered. But once YouTube would pay Nintendo will give you 60% of the revenue and they would keep 40% of it. So either way, it is wrong, because if it's content that you're making, if it's a game that you own, and not that you have pirated or anything, that you have bought, that you own it, that it's already officially out, then you can make your own content if you want to, as long as it's not something that is very controversial, like racist and contain like mature content when it's videos for kids and things like unless it's something like that, then you should be able to make their videos and you should be able to get the full revenue from it, like 100%, not a 70-30 or 60-40 split. So a lot of people were complaining about it for the longest time, for the last couple of years. There are big content creators, and yes, Dantes, you've been one of them that has been very adamant on being against it, and a bunch of like big YouTube personalities where they would not do Nintendo games because they would have to go through submitting the videos and all of that. So they said, you know what, it's not really worth it. I'm not even going to cover it. But now with the Nintendo Creators Program ending, and I saw even on Twitter, there's a couple of people that were receiving notifications on their email saying like something like congratulations, Nintendo has removed the copyright claim they had on your video. Congratulations, and over, just receiving emails, like mass emails of different videos that Nintendo is no longer having copyright rights or claims on them. So that's overall great news. hopefully we're gonna see more content because of it out there, especially from the biggest personalities on Nintendo games. In a way, it's gonna suck because that means more people with more Nintendo content on YouTube. So it's gonna be less likely for us to reach certain people. But I mean, it's either way, it's something that
Still the right thing.
greatly helps Nintendo. Yeah, it's Nintendo doing the right thing and something that should have been done, or actually should have never been done to begin with. If you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna give props to Nintendo, but I'm gonna start with a little bit hard on them. Let me start with them a little bit on that, right? I'm gonna start a little bit hard on them because it shouldn't have taken this long to where we are today. The reason I say that is because Nintendo, I know it's a weird cookie, and you have to love them and hate them at the same time. Like I always say that I have a love. Caleones know that I always say I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo. They gave me really good games, like Xenoblade Chronicles. Name drop Xenoblade Chronicles at least once per podcast. That's my goal for the next year. And then, but at the same time, I struggle with a lot of times with their policies and services. And the reason why I struggle with them, Caleones, is because look at your competition, right? And I'm going to throw a little bit of shade on Nintendo fans a little bit. It's, you guys make fun of Sony a lot for copying Nintendo consistently, right? And what did I always say, Caleones? I always say, if it's copied right, if it's copied well, go ahead and copy all you want. If it's copy like that crappy-ass PlayStation Classic, Sony, don't copy, please. Don't ever copy again Nintendo with the PlayStation Mini and all that kind of. That was a piece of doo-doo, and you have honestly destroyed a lot of goodwill for your classic console because of your money-hungry, crappy system. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I couldn't hold it. I know that was a good run for another different type of podcast, but I'm still a little bit mad at Sony because of that, right? Honestly. But going back to this, why I'm mad. Sony came out this generation and said, when they presented the console, what was the first thing that they did, Caleones? They showed the ways that you could string from your PlayStation, came in with the box from the start of the generation, and that was 5 years ago, saying this is something that we have to embrace because it's something that is going to take popularity. Another game, Until Dawn, Caleones. You consider that game a success, right?
Well, that the success of that game was driven by the YouTube community, by the live stream community, by Twitch, by all of them.
Sony did an awful job promoting that game. Like they thought that game was not gonna be anything. Like honestly, they thought that game nothing. You know what? The YouTube community said, no, this game is gonna be cool, and that game became successful, right? That's showing Sony putting their eggs in what was that game? Crap, forgot the name. The Order 1886. And yeah, how that turned out, right, Caleones? Anyway,
I mean, game looks good. It looks
graphically,
really good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
They just forgot the gameplay when they were building the game. Anyway, sorry for the dicks. I know it's normal. I had the plat for the Order 1886, so leave me alone. Anyway, so what I was saying is that's what I get frustrated with Nintendo because they have blueprints established from other companies that they can look into things, right? And maybe they're changing a little bit, like crossplay. Hey, give them credit. Nintendo was right there on the front line saying crossplay is something that we need to do. That's the first time ever that I consider them going into a trend before a lot of their competitors, Caleones. That is the truth, right? That's rare. I was like surprised as hell. But the question is this a new Nintendo? Is Nintendo changing? Are they ahead now? They're trying to see better. I will fully embrace and say that this is a new Nintendo when they fix their online service on the Switch. When they do that, I may say, Caleones, this is a new Nintendo. So I'm not convinced. But it could be the start. I'm losing my voice. It could be the start of something like that. A Nintendo that now sees trends like Sony and Microsoft do. I'm losing my voice. And Microsoft and Sony does. And maybe establish them. Because again, Sony gets a lot of shit to copy. But hey, you have to give credit, Caleones. Sony was there from the start with this. Now.
Well, I got a question for you, though.
Yep.
Okay. So how much of this, like especially the changes that Nintendo's making right now, how much does it have to do with the new Nintendo president, Shuntaro Furukawa.
Could be. I don't know. Could be. Could be at the same time. Like everything. I always laugh when fanboys, when a company does something good, they're like, "Oh, my company did something good because they love me." When Sony fanboys were celebrating that Sony accepted crossplay, Sony didn't do that for you. Sony did that because that was important for their bottom line, right, Caleones? When Microsoft changed all the horrific policies of the Xbox One, sorry. Did it did it for you, Caleones? No, they did not. It was affecting their bottom line, right? Now, for Nintendo, what game is coming out that they want to make it as big as game as possible and sell as many copies as possible?
Well, I mean, it is no coincidence that it did happen before Smash came out.
That's just a smart business decision that I'm hoping, because I'm not asking that Nintendo is my mother and takes care of me and all my needs that I want. No. The only thing I'm asking for Nintendo is to make smart business decision. And this is a smart business decision. Maybe the criticism from a lot of people, helped too. I was against from the start. I remember when we started this channel, Caleones asked me, would it be better for the channel growth to be part of the Nintendo's program? I said, Caleones, I just at that time, and we didn't talk about way. Caleones was just asking, thinking ideas of how to grow the channel, to clarify. I just said, Caleones, I just don't agree at this time because I really don't want to support that because it's really not user or customer friendly at all. That was just my stand on that one. But you know what? Doesn't matter what Nintendo did, if it's the new president, if it's because Smash is coming. The bottom line is what is important is that they changed their policy, and that is great. I want to give them props, Nintendo. You were kind of on my shit list in the last couple of months. This is something in the right direction. I am happy that they're doing it. This gives a chance, the future of this channel, to do more Nintendo content without, fearing, oh my God, Nintendo's going to strike it down or whatever. So that is good news, guys. I am happy for Nintendo. Doesn't matter the reasons. I don't care if it was the president, if it was the janitor. I don't care if it's because Smash is coming. Nintendo took it down. They did the right thing. Props to them.
Yeah, and I'll say that I hope that the trend does continue. Nintendo, one of the things that they've been talking about doing is, of course, trying to sell the 20 million consoles in fiscal year 2018. And one of the ways that you do that is by being on the good grace of people, like doing and making changes like this, announcements like this. This is always great. It doesn't carry the bad PR that the $12 million lawsuit carried. This is good news. This is news that is not only good for the players and the people, but it's also good for Nintendo as well. Because now, and I believe this is one of the other reasons why they changed it, is because now Nintendo doesn't really have to have an entire department concentrated on curating Nintendo videos. Now all they have to do is say, you know what, we're gonna allow people to post Nintendo videos online and not worry about like having them submitted, if this is going to be part of the program as a single video, as a channel, whatever. Now we can just concentrate on going after the people that are pirating, that are doing live streams with illegal ROMs and things like that, so they can concentrate on the bad side of things instead of concentrating on people that were doing good. Because publicity like this, it's free. Nintendo's not paying a penny for the the YouTubers. The YouTubers, they make their own money because of the ad revenue and the and things like, and the views and all of that. That YouTube takes care of that portion of it. Nintendo doesn't pay YouTube, so YouTube can go around and pay them. Nintendo doesn't pay for any of that. It is publicity. It is great publicity. It is free publicity, and publicity that reaches millions and millions upon millions of people in all different countries of the world. So now, and I believe this is that's the reason, because one happened at the same time as the other, is because the biggest thing about Nintendo is piracy, pirating the Smash ROM, and people doing doing those things illegally. That's where the concentration is going to be. They don't have to worry about this at all, and we don't have to worry about going through all these hoops and things like that just so we can post something on the channel. Because Dantes, how many times do we post a video on our channel And then, right on cue, we get an email saying this video has been copyright claimed by Nintendo. We
On
post another
everything
one.
except Xenoblade games. I don't know why. I don't know if that was Takahashi went to Nintendo. You guys, you leave the Xenoblade Chronicles community alone because that's the only way that game is gonna grow. Suckers! I don't know. I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many Xenoblade videos do we have on our channel? And not a single one of them got a copyright hit.
I don't know. We got a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's they never got copyright. I don't know why. I was surprised. I admit it. But Splatoon and Mario and Rabbids and Mario Odyssey and all those games, they all got copyright strikes. So, again, this is good news. Let's end this subject because we're already like 40 minutes in. But let's end it with subjects with applauding Nintendo. Good job, Nintendo. Hopefully you can keep doing good stuff like this moving forward.
Okay, and going over to the next piece of news, and we are now continuing to talk, of course, about Nintendo because this is a Nintendo podcast. But they say that, and this is coming from My Nintendo News, strategy analytics, Nintendo will take the #1 spot from Sony in 2019. So, a lot of, like firms, they're doing their predictions when it comes to, 2018, 19, if Nintendo is going to be #1, Sony, Microsoft, whomever. But when it comes to strategy analytics, they believe that in 2019, Nintendo will be taking the crown from Sony, that Sony is expected to sell 17.1 million PS4s versus Nintendo, which is forecasted to sell 17.3 million. And of course, in third place, they anticipate that Microsoft is going to sell around 10 million Xbox Ones for 2019. So I know that this is probably a little too early for them to start doing those numbers. We still don't know what's going to happen in 2019. We don't know if Sony is going to lower the price of the PS4 even more, if they're going to announce the PS5 and people are going to stop buying the PS4 because they want to save.
I thought it was 2018.
No, it's 2019. Yeah. So for next year. And
interesting.
But as far as 2019, but this is my question to you, Dantes. One, is it a little too early to be going into this? And two, who do you foresee being, taking the crown in 2019 of the most sold consoles?
I think maybe Nintendo could take it. If there's one thing that Nintendo could do, it'll help them take the crown. There's two things, right? I'm sorry, I'm having a tough time talking today. Two things. What is up, pretty not pretty? Two things. One is PlayStation announces the PlayStation 5 early. So in anticipation of that, PlayStation sales may go down. But at the same time, Sony can counter that with more cheap bundles like they did with this Black Friday deals with the Spider-Man.
And we're not talking cheap like the PlayStation Classic. We're talking about cheap as in price-wise.
Yeah, price-wise. Yeah, no, that's just cheap. That was made by $2 and they're trying to charge you $100. No, we're talking about PlayStation 4 itself going maybe at $150 by that time. I don't know, with a Spider-Man bundle. The Spider-Man bundle did great. At that point, they could possibly do a Last of Us bundle. That could be a nice bundle to have, So
yeah, I don't think a Days Gone bundle is gonna work.
No, I don't think Days Gone bundle is gonna be doing, nor a Dream bundle. Anyway, but anyway, Sony can counter that way. So that's a reason why Sony could still win. Now, the only interesting thing that I could see is the question is Sony gonna reduce in sales enough that in the worldwide sales, I'm talking not USA, I'm talking UK, Europe, France, Brazil, all the other markets, right? The sales go low enough that the offset of Japan, where Nintendo is just owning everybody right now, is enough for them to win. That could happen. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. It's just interesting that they honestly, the analysis put them both neck to neck because honestly, 17.3 to 17.1 is not that a huge difference, Caleones. And we're talking about at that point a 6-year-old console compared to a newer console. So it's still a fight. So at the end of the day, I think the question is gonna be when do they announce the PlayStation 5 if they do, if that's going to hurt the sales. Can Nintendo do it? Yeah, the Switch is selling great, which is great. The Switch on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I think they even took the top spot in Cyber Monday. So, Nintendo is selling really well in Black Friday. And this is, to clarify, to give them a lot of props, this is without a big discount compared to the competition, right, Caleones? I mean, that's the truth. There's no huge discount. They're bundling again. That Mario Kart bundle was pretty good. They sold pretty well on those. But again, that means that they only reduced the price in theory to $250 because they're giving you the game away. Sony's giving you a $200 console with Spider-Man, which means is they were giving you a $150 console. That's basically bargain bin right there. That's a better price than to buy a PlayStation Classic, which is $100, Caleones. That's sad. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, props. Both are gonna sell well, and I think I always say this: a healthy Nintendo and a healthy Sony is important because they challenge each other to do better, right? And hopefully that will continue. Even in Microsoft, even though I'm scared of Microsoft where they're taking the industry, really you want them to be off because they're making some ideas, some moves that could drive the industry forward in a different direction that we don't expect. So if it wasn't Microsoft, it was going to be someone else. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. Can it happen? I would say yes. Will it happen? I am a little bit doubtful because of the PlayStation 4 probably by next year is going to be the same price as the PlayStation Classic. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I guess just going off what one of the people said on the chat. So we have HSNYC. He said that basically on his channel, whenever they start doing content, they're gonna be doing it with Nintendo games, and that's because he does have a 7-year-old son. He said that until my 7-year-old son grows and decides to venture into other consoles. So, and this is something that we talked about before as well, is that Nintendo has always been a great, starting point for kids when it comes to playing video games. And us as parents, we usually gravitate our kids toward the Nintendo consoles. They start with those, and then they grow out of it and into the PlayStation, and then they start playing the PlayStation or they start playing the Xbox. Then they grow up, they have kids, and then the circle of life repeats because they're kids. They go ahead and introduce them back to Nintendo.
Sorry, go ahead.
So it's a circle of life of video game, and something that both Nintendo and Sony benefit from one another, because Nintendo gets everybody started on gaming, then they move it along to Sony, and then they grow and go back to Nintendo and keep going over and over again. So this is why they both need to continue to exist. They both benefit from each other, and we're gonna continue seeing them for a long time. But as far as this specifically, there's too many variables for us to say that one is going to be over the other. Of course, the Switch can sell 17.3 million system, the PlayStation 17.1, but then you have the PlayStation selling 1 billion games and the Switch selling 500 million. So who won in that case? Sony did, because they sold the most games and they made the more money out of selling the most games. And that's why, even though the Xbox, they have it as 10, but Xbox is making a killing because of the Game Pass, because of the gold and all of that stuff. So at the end of the day, it is fun talking about console sales. It is fun saying, hey, my console is the best selling one, it beat the other ones. It is fun talking about that, but that's not the end all be all when it comes to deciding which one is doing the best. It is selling the game. So I think it's either way too early to talk about 2019. Yeah, and I'm more worried about, or not worried, but interested to see how Nintendo does by the end of March 31st of 2019, which is when fiscal year 2018 ends, to see if they reach their 20 million goal, or if they are short, if they exceed it, or what happens with that. But we'll see. We have an entire year next year to talk about 2019.
And next year is good competition. I'll have to say, good games coming out. You got Nintendo, and I know I don't like the game, but you have to give credit what is the power of the game, which is Animal Crossing is coming out next year. Mario, in my case, Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming out next year. Hopefully, we'll get I don't know, Sony. I was gonna say Days Gone. Days Gone is not a bad game. It doesn't look bad. I just don't think it has the power like the other games. But it depends if Death Stranding come out next year, which I doubt. Or
Well, they had a leak on I believe it was in Walmart Canada, where it said it was going to come out around like June of 2019. They removed it, but it was kind of like
we'll
a slip up, so I'm not
we'll
sure.
see. Sony has a good base. Oh, I think Caleones just went out. You still there, Caleones?
Yeah, it was. I'm there. I'm there.
Okay. What I was gonna say, that was weird. What I was gonna say is, both Nintendo and Sony are, I think, managing their portfolio really well. So I think they're gonna have both good games next year. So we shall see. Anyway, guys, with that, let's move to the last hot topic, right?
Well, the last hot topic, and this is one where I'm gonna let Dantes do most of the talking. It is that I'll put it this way because Dantes wants to talk about it this way. Nintendo has censored Mitra's outfit on Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. But at the same time, there was an update for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and the Torna games where they introduced the Smash outfit into those games. So I'll let you do most of the talking. I may say, one or two quick
not
points
much
at the
talking,
end.
Caleones, because I kind of mellow out on this 10 a little bit, and here why I'm mellowing out on this 10.
Oh, you were when it happened, you were fired up.
Yeah, no, I was mad because again, I Xenoblade it's an important IP for me. You have to understand. It's like my favorite Switch game, straight out. More than Breath of the Wild, more than Mario Odyssey. I spend a lot of hours in this world that I love so much. But the reason I mellow out is because I have to give props to Nintendo, right? If you're going to censor something, be smart about it. And here's what I mean with that. Gotta be honest. This is how you play the game. I'm telling you, how you do proper PR, right? Some people were mad. Oh, it's censored. They censored the game. Nintendo is saying, no, it is not censoring. We're just giving an alternative costume. And by the way, you're gonna download it in your anniversary of Xenoblade Chronicles. It's an alternative costume. That's what we're showing. It's not censorship. So Caleones, you know why you get mad, but you can't get mad about playing the game, Caleones. You can't get mad about the hustle. And you know what? Nintendo just hustle a lot of us Xenoblade fans because it is an alternative costumes, right? Caleones, it is not censorship, right? They gave it to you.
Right now, it's part of the game itself, so it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The problem is that the picture came out. So here, what I think Nintendo was thinking. Nintendo's thinking, oh shit, we're censoring Mithra. We're gonna get people mad about it because people are protected about Xenoblade. Understandable. Wait. Takahashi, can you make the costume available in Xenoblade? Takahashi, yeah, dude, I got you back, son. It's all good. We'll do it. The problem was that the picture came out because of the early leaks of Smash before the release of this costume. So in reality, if you think about it, Nintendo's plans was let's drop the costume as an alternative costume for the Xenoblade players. They'll get used to playing with Mithra that way because they're going to like the costume. They're going to start thinking it's not censorship. And then when we drop Smash, people are going to be, oh, that's just the alternative costume. I got used to it when I was playing Xenoblade a week before. Who cares? I believe that was the plan, Caleones. I may be thinking too much about this, like a master plan maniac.
As a Nintendo fan and apologist, that the plan sounds pretty good, so I'll allow it.
I'm just saying, it sounds like a good hustle. You have to give them credit. I think again, it happened was the damn Smash leaks happened before and kind of destroyed the plan that they had. That was it. So anyway, that's why I mellow out with this, right? Because it was a good move, dude. You have to give him props. Do I like it? I still don't like it. I feel the character should be, because again, this is where I'm going now a little bit on the rant. I believe the U.S. culture is up in the ass of sexuality too much that, oh my God, a little bit of boobs, a little bit of legs, oh my God, it's the end of the world. But it's okay to go and rip someone's head out, Caleones.
A little bit.
Anyway,
A little bit.
you know what I mean. It's okay to rip a heart out. It's okay to shoot and blow people's head out. How can that be acceptable on this culture? But a little bit of legs is not. That's where my I just can't grasp my. And to clarify, it's not that I'm a weebo and I like those type of games. You can ask Caleones. It's not that I play that much JRPGs. And I don't play the Sakura game or whatever it is called. You know.
Senran Kagura.
Yeah, but I may touch on it a little bit when we go to the newsburst section of it, where Nintendo, because they moved the PlayStation headquarters now to California, Sony, because they moved all the headquarters to California, they have changed the culture where Sony now is going to lose this niche market. Because in Nintendo's defense, even though I don't agree that they censor Mithra on Smash, to Caleones' point, that he brought this point where we were having the back and forth about this, the original game is being left intact. The Sakura Sutsukura game, whatever it's called, has been left intact, Caleones. I don't like those games. I could care a flying F-U-C-K about those games, right? But there's a crowd for it. Let them buy it. You know, you decide what is right for you based on your wallet. That is what I believe censorship. I don't agree with censorship because you should let the consumer, unless the game has a scene where they're raping children or something like that, dude, I'm okay. I'm typically okay. If they're adults, I could care less. And that's my point, and that's where Sony, I believe next generation, because what is Sony has made their name for themselves, Caleones, is because they encompasses a lot of genres. They can any type of game.
For the players.
For the players, exactly. For the players. Let me do my Ditto March right now because they're changing. For the players. But now, Sony, PlayStation specifically, what does it control? In the Americas, basically control PlayStation because that's their biggest market now. Japan used to lead the PlayStation. That's not happening. Then you ask the second question. What are the Western developers who lead the charge for Sony right now? Naughty Dog. Give you an example. And most of them are Western developers. Their best developers are Western, Caleones. So what's going to happen? Western culture kind of gets involved a little bit more with Sony perspective now. So now, oh my God, sexuality. You know, another game, and I'm gonna keep hammering on Sony because they deserve it. And I know this is a Nintendo podcast. Catherine, remember the game Catherine? Huge game on the PlayStation 3. A strong fan base. Atlus made that game, and I would be Sony. I would be careful not making them mad right now because if you guys didn't notice, Atlus was the company that gave you your best exclusive JRPG right now. If I were you, Sony, I would step back a little bit. They're censoring Catherine, Caleones. Sony is censoring Catherine, a puzzle game. Yeah, they got some strong scenes in that game, but that is the choice of the customer to decide to buy those games. And the reason I was a little bit charged with Nintendo is because I'm hoping Nintendo historically has done that in the past. Seems like this generation they have stepped back more, but they've done it in the past. But if you think about it, if you put the two evils side by side right now, which one did I need to fight? Sony. Right now, Sony is the one on the wrong, completely on the wrong right now. Like really bad on the wrong. Nintendo, yeah, okay. I have to think that they left Xenoblade as it is. They didn't touch it. Well, there's some censorship also on when they translated the game. Yeah, that's fine, but it's something that they just trying to make it more as you talk Western in the translation. That's fine. I'm not gonna cry about that. But the lesser of the two evils is Nintendo right now. So you have to give shit to Sony. They're doing it wrong, and if they lose support from companies like Atlus, Caleones. Atlus is a big RPG Japanese type of game developer. That company goes with Nintendo only. Give me an example. Sony, you're going to lose. You won't see it. You probably say, we're just going to lose a couple of million. Every million matters, Caleones. Every million matters because then people will start thinking of your console differently. So I'm in a Nintendo podcast, Sony. I'm begging you to stop with the BS, stop the censorship, and let the games speak for themselves, and the consumer determines the right and wrong for the games. Anyway, I'm done with the rant. Sorry, Caleones. I mean, unless you want anything to add to it.
Well, I mean, just you're talking about Persona. I mean, I would expect maybe like something like Persona 5 Golden to maybe appear at some point on the Switch. But I mean, they're already making Shin Megami Tensei 5 for the Switch, and that's going to be an exclusive Nintendo Switch title. And they have a pretty good relationship with Nintendo, and their games, they're not extremely demanding game that putting it on the Nintendo Switch would take away from the experience. So a game like Persona 5 could, very well run on the Nintendo Switch, and they could pull support from Sony and just bring all their games into the Nintendo Switch, exclusively, because we've seen that most of those, the RPG type games and those companies, they're moving over to the Switch with the Nintendo Vita. I mean, the Nintendo Vita with the PS Vita, just basically left in the dust by Sony, and they're gravitating over to the handheld. We already had Persona Q was one of the games on a Nintendo system already, so they have no issues bringing games to a Nintendo system. And Sony should be a little bit careful with what they do, because they could very well just come over. I wouldn't complain, because I would love to have those games on our system, but the install base on Sony is so big that so many more people would miss out on playing those kind of gems. But as far as Nintendo, I know that was I was the apologist when it came to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and you made a great point about Nintendo wanted to get ahead of themselves and release the outfit on the game before Smash came out, and because of the leaks and everything, and that plan, if that was indeed their plan, just went to to
just makes sense,
scrap.
Calion. It just makes sense in my head.
But the other thing that I was arguing is that for the most part, Nintendo tries to make their Smash games to be rated like E for everyone or things like that, and I don't know. I mean, this is just me spitballing. I have no idea what the conversations are. I don't know if they're at the in the rating boards and they're saying, you know what, this game has so many things that we're gonna have to rate it a T or something like that. But if you make certain cuts here and there, we're gonna keep the rating at an E. Maybe they had those conversations. I mean, I wouldn't catalog it as censorship in a way. More so. You have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They didn't do any censorship on that one, and they let it be. If it was going to be an MT, it ended up being a T. But for Smash, they always try to make sure that it has a certain rating, because they believe Smash will be a game for everyone, for the entire Nintendo fan base. So maybe those were some discussions they had, out there, and the rating boards when they're rating games, movies, and things like that. And especially movies, like they say, okay, so you have an R rating here, but if you tone it down here and there, you can bring it down to like a PG-13 rating. So and they do those back and cuts, edits and things like that, just so they can get it down. That happens in the movie industry. Could very well have happened with Smash as well. But either way, like you said, that changed because Mitra is not even playable. She's not a playable character. It's just a single image of her, and it doesn't compare with taking a game and stripping it of most of the content or what makes the game that game, because you're trying to censor it. So that's a bigger deal. They did do it with Xenoblade Chronicles X, where they had the boob increaser and decreaser on the character creation portion. So they did take away that, but hopefully Nintendo has learned. And with the Switch, so far they've been making pretty good decisions when it comes to censorship of games. And quickly, I want to say hi to Ghost NSJJ. Hey, and welcome to the stream. And are you ready to go over with the next piece of news? Or actually, this is going to be the Spitfire portion, so you can go ahead.
Let's go to Onuma's news burst, because the first piece of news in Onuma's news burst is, again, there's the Sakukura games, the one that you touch a girl, how it's gonna get delayed, the next one, because of Sony censoring policies, and it will affect the Switch version too. So I don't know if that means that the censorship that is gonna be implemented by Sony now is gonna impact even the Switch version because it's easier for them just to make, one version of the game. So people don't feel, because again, and admittedly, I'm not denying that, and it happened during the Super NES era. A lot of these companies sometimes make decision to not made the top dog mad, and at that point was Nintendo. Companies will make whatever it takes to make Nintendo happy. Right now, the top dog, and you have to give it to them, is Sony. So, a lot of these companies will be making decisions. Sometimes they say, well, I want to make Sony mad, I think that the way that Sony could get impacted, like you were saying, we're talking about Atlus specifically. Let's just say Catherine comes out, it doesn't sell the copies that they expected, but then they put it on the Switch, and the Switch, even with a smaller install base, gets them enough copies or enough to make money back. They could go, well, I don't want to deal with the hustle of Sony's censorship BS. That could happen. Anyway, go ahead with the news, but that was basically a summary of it.
Okay, so basically, the news is that the same Korea producer, they're saying that the next game is going to take a longer to develop because there are certain regulations in place, especially when it comes to the depiction of sexual behavior, that they're probably going to have to be careful when it comes to developing, just so they're not going to get hit or or even have the game banned from certain countries. So, well, in detail, he said. Recently, worldwide regulations regarding sexual depiction have been getting stronger, and in that respect, we have to make games in a way that they aren't misunderstood. Certain things are harder than they've been ever before. Given that, I think the game is going to take some time. We want to make it happen. So right now, we're at a place where we're thinking about how to do that and various other things overall. So, and this is coming from Kenichiro Takaki, which is the producer of the Senran Kagura series. And of course, Senran Kagura has been a little bit controversial when it comes to the depiction of females on the game.
It is a stupid ass game, but
it has its following. So,
but God bless you if you like it and you want to spend money on that. Good for you. That's my point, Caleones. Good for you. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but yes, we'll see, because it's not just the sexual depiction when it comes to certain games. It's also violence, or it comes to like hate content and things like that. So we're gonna see a lot more coming from certain countries. Of course, the U.S. Is going through some turmoil when it comes to those things. So we'll see how that's gonna affect. And of course, if big markets are gonna be affected, that affects the smaller markets as well. But yeah, it's just going to take more time. So for those of you that were looking forward to the next Senran Kagura game, it's going to be a little while, but rest assured, there's still one Senran Kagura game on the Nintendo Switch right now, so you can go ahead and get it. I believe it's $9.99. If you enjoy that type of game, it is there for you to download, and Nintendo didn't censor any of it, so you can rest assured you're going to have the full experience from it.
Go ahead, Carlos, with the next piece of news.
Okay, so the next piece of news, and this is coming from Sakurai. He said that the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to receive a Day 1 patch. So, for those of you that are going to be getting the physical version of the game will have a Day 1 patch. It is understandable because it's kind of like the norm. Yeah, it is the norm when it comes to most of the games, be it from Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, etc. But you kind of have to wonder, is it because they're going to be adding certain things to the game? I believe one of the things is probably going to be the outfit change on there when it comes to Mitra. But other things is that maybe they're taking some precautions for people that have pirated the other games, and they're putting something in place to kind of make those copies of the game
break your console, baby. Let's break some consoles, Nintendo. Go ahead.
Hey, if Nintendo is able to get all those people banned, that's only going to help them sell more consoles, because they're going to have to turn around and buy others. So it helps the bottom line. So we'll see what happens.
Go ahead, Carlos, with the next one.
Okay, next one, and this is coming from Nintendo. And there was a leak last week where they were talking about that a lot of people were kind of like, there was a rumor going around that Skyward Sword was going to be coming out on the Switch.
I was pumped for it. I was like, yes. And, broke my heart.
And Nintendo came out and they said, at this time, we have no plans to release The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on the Nintendo Switch. But then again, Nintendo has been famous for sometimes coming out and saying, no, that's not true, it's not happening. And then a couple of days later, it does happen. So we'll see. In your own opinion, on this, do you think Skyward Sword HD is going to come out on the Switch?
The only thing that stops me from saying a definitive yes is because the controls, right? Can they, with the new Switch modes, but the Joy-Cons, can they replicate the same control without affecting gameplay? I'm hopeful that they find a way, Caleones, to do it. I like Skyward Sword. A lot of people didn't like it because of the motion controls. I was fine with it. I also did not hate the linear aspect of the game because it came out to be the best Zelda story of all time, in my opinion. It was the game a little bit too linear and you repeated the same stages. It felt, Caleones, that it was developed just in mind with the controllers, and because of the Wii low storage for the game, they couldn't make bigger areas, so they had to cut a lot of stuff out, I believe, honestly. But but I love Skyward Sword. I have dabbled on it. I haven't played it fully on the Dolphin, and in HD looks way better. At least the graphics are already kind of well made for that, Caliona. So if they only do an HD resolution, I think it's gonna look really good. I think it's just the obstacle is the controllers. How can they implement?
Okay, and yeah, I mean that's one of the things I'm thinking about is that for me personally, I believe I will have a better experience of the game if I'm playing it with the Switch Pro controller, and kind of like the Breath of the Wild, where you can still use the gyro to make the movements and things like that. So I believe most of the movement can still be simulated.
But did you play the original? Because like the gameplay was really well made the gameplay was integrated with the motion controls. Like even when you fight bosses, you needed to slash specific directions and shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, especially with the Plus, the Wiimote Plus.
You needed the Wiimote Plus. I had, you needed it. You couldn't play it without it. But anyway, I don't know if they can find a way. I think they can just need to make it work with the Joy-Cons. Honestly, if they can, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't want to go through another case of like Pokemon Let's Go, for example, where you can play the game with the Pokeball Plus. You can play the game with the Joy-Con. You can play with the game handheld mode on the Switch, but you cannot play with the Switch Pro controller. And that's something that I have no idea why, because if you can play it handheld mode with the two Joy-Cons on the system and you're not moving it, you're not taking it out and throwing or anything, they're right there, then why can you not play with the Pro controller? So I mean, it's just for me the Pro is really comfortable. I really love that controller, and for games like those, hopefully they'll make it work somehow. And if they do, I believe that they're gonna get even more people getting the game with the the proper controllers, because you'll give them the option for the motion controllers. For that crowd, the controllers are going to be there, or for people that want the proper controllers, the crowd is going to be able to play it that way as well. So that way you do the best of both worlds, and you get more people in. And I believe it could probably sell twice as much as what the game sold on the Wii when it came out.
Okay.
Okay, and going over with the next one, and this is that talking about Nintendo, and this is something that Dantes he tweeted it out, copied me on it, and he was very excited about it. And it's that Nintendo has applied for new patents or new trademarks, and those are for the Wii, for Fossil Fighters, and for The Last Story. And that's the one that Dantes was extremely excited about. For those of you that don't know, The Last Story was a game that came out in Japan, in Europe. It didn't come out in the US until much later. And then during the same time that Xenoblade Chronicles came out.
SC was the publisher over here, even though it was a Nintendo game basically. Nintendo lost. They made a deal with XC to send it here. The reason I'm happy, hopefully, maybe, I think it's just keeping the trademark, honestly. But it's an underrated RPG, guys. It was a short RPG, so you can beat it in 25 hours. So it was something perfect for someone like me, right, who's a busy life. The story was not that bad. Was it a cliche a little bit? Yeah, it was, but sometimes if you tell it well, who cares? A couple of JRPG giants did this game. The father of Final Fantasy was the director of this game, and the composer of the original music of Final Fantasy was the composer of this game. I can't pronounce their name, so I apologize. But you know, it's a game that I liked a lot. Again, that's why I defend the Wii. The Wii had really good games. It's just sad that people just think about the crappy shovelware. It really is. I think I blame the casuals and I blame people for just saying, "Oh, the Wii is just a casual machine," and they did not look deep enough on that console to find the good shit to play. So anyway, but that was my rant. But yeah, hopefully, maybe we'll get a last story too. That would be perfect, in my opinion. But we shall see.
Well, and I mean, it's they gotta make it. Like if somebody like Monolith Software giving the reins to making another one, another game on the Last of Us series, the last story. I'm sorry, the Last of
That's
Us,
all. Yeah.
the last story. But I mean, hopefully they will continue it. It's those games that they are. You kind of think of them as Nintendo games, not because even though they're not made by Nintendo, but they are on Nintendo only systems. Maybe you can get an HD version. Maybe you can get a re-release on some sort of virtual console. For the Switch.
So Miss Walker was the developer, but Nintendo owns the IP. To clarify, it's just the Exceed was the publisher here in the States instead of Nintendo in Japan, because Nintendo didn't feel confident the game would sell, so they basically let another company take the reins and see if it sell. It's sold. It's sold. Exceed still around. Exceed still making money. So who cares?
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at what Miss Walkers is doing lately,
Yeah, it's just
they're just
mobile
making
games. It's just
yeah, they're making mobile games.
yeah.
Yeah, Terra Battle.
Yep.
So for the past 3 years, they've been making Terra Battle 2, Terra Wars, and I believe after the last story, they haven't really done any big
No, they have not.
console
No,
games.
they have not.
So I mean, so if Nintendo does own the IP, then yes, they can go ahead and give it to somebody within their company to continue with it, or at least get somebody like Tantalus and do an HD version of it, so we can get to play it again. And a lot of people that didn't play it before, they can get their hands on it. And again, Nintendo remakes on the Switch have been selling great. I mean, especially like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's so great on the Switch compared to the Wii U version. So that's a trend that seems to continue. So I would like to see those. So we'll see what happens. But moving along to the next piece of news, and this is coming from the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and everything. So they're saying that in the U.S., the Nintendo sales topped $250 million during the sales period of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Basically, they said that on the Switch, the Nintendo Switch hardware sales grew 115% compared to the same period in 2017. Lifetime sales of the Nintendo Switch, which is entering the second holiday, reached more than 8.2 million units. The sales of the first party game, and this is US only, we're not talking about worldwide. Sales of first party games, including digital download, topped 1 million units from November 22nd to the 26th. And that's an increase of 78% over the same period in 2017. The Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, both of them hit combined sales of 1.5 million units. Super Mario Party had sales, sold over 1 million units so far. And, talking about, which is, it's actually made it the fastest selling Mario Party game ever. And it goes alongside Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Splatoon 2 as million sellers in the U.S. So I mean, overall, Nintendo had great success. And well, later on, especially when the NPD comes out next year, we're gonna see in detail, like who won Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all those things. But as a whole, it seems that the video game spectrum is doing great overall, and Nintendo had great success. last week and the week before.
Yeah, not much to say. It was a hot item, and I think you're gonna saw it once we talk to the news about Cyber Monday. So go ahead, Caleones.
So yeah, continuing with this, this is coming from Adobe Insights, and they were talking about the top 5 selling products for Cyber Monday. So no, not just the five top 5 selling games or the top 5 selling consoles or any of that. The top 5 selling products for Cyber Monday. They had number one fingerlings, which I'm probably gonna have to Google it because I'm not sure what it is. Then they had the LOL surprise dolls. Number three was the Nintendo Switch system, came in at number three. Number four was laptops from Dell and Apple, and number three was LG TVs. So I mean that's pretty big when it comes to Nintendo. It not only did better than Sony and Microsoft when it comes to selling, but it's actually the third best selling product, bar none, when it came to what Adobe Insights shared for Cyber Monday. So is that pretty impressive, Dantes?
Yeah, I mean, last year they won Cyber Monday also. I always had this theory, and I'm not trying to just lower the Switch success on Cyber Monday, but I always believe that what happens is Xbox and Sony have like cheap bundles. A lot of people just grab those, and then by Cyber Monday, it's really hard to find those bundles. So then, I have to get my kid a console or whatever. So it's easier for Nintendo to win Cyber Monday. But anyway, aside from that, this is just me speculating. I'm not an analyst, but you can't take away the credit of this still selling. Like it's a hot item for parents to buy for their kids, right?
And no discount.
Yeah. And Cyber Monday is it's a place where a lot of smart parents. This is the smart parents who are buying, not the ones who go there and fight for $200 TVs.
But it makes for fun videos, though. That's
well, they're lowering down. People are getting smarter on Black Friday. So Cyber Monday is just for the smart parent who say, "I'm gonna buy that present here. I'm not gonna, fight lines and crap like that." Hey, props for Nintendo. Nintendo, look, you can't take it away. Their credit away. Nintendo itself, the Switch, it's a great console, great hardware. I always said from the start. If you look at it, it doesn't look like a kid's toy anymore. It looks like a proper, well-made machine. Do I wish their services were way better? Yeah, I do. But you know what? I can forgive them if they keep giving me good games right now. Right now, the 2 games that I have on my Switch ready to roll is Transistor. Go buy it, people. It's only $20. It's one of the best games of all time. You listen to it right here at the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast. But Transistor and Octopath Traveler, 2 good games. I'm ready to roll with those 2 next on my Switch to burn the midnight oil, Caleones, until that Luigi's Mansions come out. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? And props to Nintendo because, again, how many plats I have this year? Only 11, Caleones. 11. This is my lowest plat output in a while. And I think I'm going to get at least 14 to 15 plats because I got a couple of games lined up, Caleones. They are just quick ones, a couple of VR games and stuff like that.
Well, do a quick shout out to
Astrobot, which is everybody saying is great. I'm looking forward to do that plat if I have time. If I don't do it in December, I'll do it early January for sure to start the year strong with PlayStation. Because again, the reason I say all this is because Nintendo has delivered a system that has taken away from me on my ecosystem, because even though I love Nintendo, my main ecosystem is still PlayStation, Caleones. And they have done their job to pull me away from that ecosystem to use their system, to play their system, right? And it has been because of great games like, again, Mario and Rabbids. That game pulled me out. Never expected that game to play, Captain Toad, another game that pulled me out from that system, right? Xenoblade Chronicles, the Tornag, the Golden Country. That was almost a full game, Caleones. I spent close to 40 hours on that game, just doing everything, doing stuff. That's good 40 hours. That's like any AAA game would be like, oh my God, you play 40 hours of a game. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, you have to give credit's due. And then next year, you have that Luigi Mansion coming up. And I know they're going to drop that Pikmin, Caleones. They're going to drop my Pikmin next year also, right? So, props for Nintendo. They're doing a good job on it. We shall see how next year grind out. But it's tough to balance two ecosystem, Caleones. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Because then next year, we got that Resident Evil 2 dropping in January. That Kingdom Hearts dropping. We got Days Gone dropping in April. We got some good games rolling next year. Plus my backlog was like awful right now.
I mean, I really want to play Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Like Resident Evil 2 was my favorite Resident Evil on PlayStation 1. And sometimes if I go back, maybe this is my nostalgia goggles, but Resident Evil 2 is my favorite of all of them. But Resident Evil 4 is close there too, so I want to give them credit too. But anyway, I'm sorry for the long rant. My point was, you know what, Nintendo, props. You're doing good enough job that you keep feeding software into that system. And you know what? People are buying software. They're buying stuff. You know what? Guacamelee 2, I already play on PlayStation 4, but it's coming on the Switch. I'm happy that game is getting more visibility, because this is the first time that I could say I want games to come out on the Switch. You know why, guys? Because people are buying them. I want to see good sales on those games, because that means I'm going to get Guacamelee 3 at some point down the road. You know what I'm saying? There's this smaller companies who need every sale they can get. They can have a good ecosystem with the Switch. Anyway, sorry for the long. Go ahead, Karim.
Okay, and we can go ahead and go with the next one. This is coming from Black Friday sales in the UK. They said that 300,000 consoles were shifted across the PlayStation 4, which was the top one, followed by the Xbox One, and then the Nintendo Switch. So they said that, but we understand that the PS4 was the best-selling machine, narrowly ahead of Xbox One, which was narrowly ahead of the Nintendo Switch. So I mean, in essence,
it was really close. Yep.
Yeah, it was 1, 2, 3, but it was pretty close across them. So either way, game consoles were doing pretty good. And that's in the UK, so it's not the US or Japan. So that's a pretty big number. I really haven't seen the Japan number, so that's probably something I'm gonna have to go back and see.
Look for it, because I didn't saw it on this week's news. Probably was last week's or something, because I think Japan. Do they celebrate Black Friday, or they do it sooner? I don't know. They do it later.
But I think when it comes to Black Friday sales, they're starting to do it more worldwide. So we'll see. But they had the I was gonna go to Reset Era to get the media create sales, but they're on maintenance. But yeah, I'll check to see if the media create sales are out. But yes, it's they're starting to do it more across the globe than just in the U.S. But either way, going over to the next one, and this is from Reggie. He was he stated again that when it comes to the U.S., that 60% of our revenue comes from the lead up to Christmas. In quote, he stated that the holiday selling season, October, November, and December, is critically important to our company. We typically do in the Americas about 60% of our revenue during that time frame. The reason that is so significant is, first, our products make great gifts. Whether you're talking about the Nintendo Switch, whether you're talking about Nintendo 2DS, we really do well with that gift giving occasion, and that's what Reggie said. So I know that people were saying that so far throughout the year, Nintendo didn't really have any big titles coming out to move hardware. I know that when Octopath Traveler came out, it sold consoles. Super Mario Party actually sold consoles as well, but it sold more Joy-Cons than consoles. But you didn't really have the Zelda, the Splatoon 2s, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the Super Mario Odysseys there to continue to sell. And people were worried that they are not going to get to the 20 million
well, they won't, but
forecast.
That's something else. But
yeah,
I will say this. So I think people give too much stock about holiday shopping. And what I mean with that is, you don't need to have a killer software or a killer game like a Smash. And I know Nintendo would have preferred the Smash would have come out earlier. Probably they couldn't hit it. The reason I say that is because a lot of kids who buy it, and they're buying the system now, is because of the backlog of games for those kids. Now you have your Mario Odyssey out. Now you have your Zelda Breath of the Wild out. Now you have your Mario and Rabbids. Now you have your Splatoon. Right? You have all those games, right? That build your backlog, and they tell a parent or tell a kid, when you're a kid, Caleones, you're not in the know like we do. Like, when did you bought a Nintendo system, right? Oh, when Ninja Gaiden, when the Nintendo system was already a couple years out. That's when I bought it, because you had your Ninja Gaiden out, your Punch Out. I remember Punch Out. That was a great game in my time. Uh, Mario Brothers, of course. You can't talk about a system without Mario Brothers. And I when I bought my Nintendo system, I bought it with the Mario and Duck Hunt combo game, right? That was that. When that game came out, they were separate. Gotta be honest. So what I'm saying is that when you're a kid, you're not in the known for everything. You buy the system when you have the games that you like. So that's why I mean that a lot of people say, "Oh my God, this game, they're not gonna have any killer exclusive games for the holidays to sell." You know what? They did enough. They have the Pokemon games. That should be enough to carry them. And then they have the backlog of games that are gonna sell you the system. So.
Okay, and going over to the next one, and this one's going to be the last piece of news that we have for this week, and this is coming from the UK charts, and it's that Pokemon Let's Go has slipped down to number 8 on the chart. And for those, Pokemon Let's Go, it's number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at number 10, Super Mario Party number 24, Super Mario Odyssey 25th, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 38, and I mean it's. Are you surprised about the UK and the Nintendo games falling on that one?
No, the reason I put it was because since we were talking sales completely, and there wasn't much news this week, even though it's not right now taking us like an hour and a half of the show. But in reality, we weren't here last week because of the holidays, so we didn't talk about sales specifically for Pokemon Let's Go. I'll lead this into this to close this. It's the Pokemon Let's Go is selling great. I think way more than anybody of us expected, because it was not a mainline Pokemon. But a lot of people are liking it, and I think they're liking it because of the nostalgic reason of it. By going back to the original Pokemon Red and Blue games, people are liking it a lot, even though it is a dumbed down Pokemon. Yeah, it is. But you know what? A lot of people got into the Pokemon Let's Go craze. They want to understand why that it came from. It's building a new crowd. This is not your mainline Pokemon is coming next year, so take it easy. This is, I think, was a good decision by Nintendo to have it ready to roll for this holidays, and it's selling well. So, what should I say?
That's it.
So with that, let's move out and go quickly because we're already late into Chiguero's Supermarket. So, Caleones, what are the hot games in the market this week?
Well, I'm just going to go run down through the games releasing this week. So we have Mordheim Warband Skirmish, This War of Mine Complete Edition, Spin Tires Mud Runner America's Wilds, 99 Vidas Definitive Edition, R-Type Dimensions EX, Horizon Chase Turbo, Stardust Galaxy Warrior Stellar Climax, Screen Sheet Unplugged, Nairi Tower of Sharing, Marenian, Tyrant Story, Patty and the Hungry God, against Sokyo Defenders, Galley Break, Dexterity Trip, Crimson Keep, Cattails, Asterix and Obelix XXL2, Arcade Archives Route 16, Animal Hunters Z, Akihabara Field the Written Remixed, Neo Geo's Cup 98, The Road to Victory, Absu, 3D Billiards Pool as Snooker, The First Tree, Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, Secret Files Tungutska, Okunoko KA, I Am the Hero, Harvest Life, Escape Doodland, Coffee Crisis, Ark Survival Evolved, and Rock Boxers DX Director's Cut. So, I'm not going to single out a game of the week. Yeah, pretty much. There's no big games because, of course, we're going in between the release of Pokemon Let's Go, which was a couple of weeks ago, and next week or this week, which is going to be Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. So I can see this as a lot of games trying to release before Smash comes out, and it kind of overshadows other big releases.
So the only game you guys need to buy is Transistor. Anyway, with With that said, guys, let's end the show. We've been an hour and a half already here. I know it's been a long podcast, but there were some good topics I think that we delved into this week, Caleones. But with that, let's start ending the show. I'm going to put that Sinole music. There you go. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and watching us at the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast. Episode 71 right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell so you can make this two crazy MFs happy. Also, if you don't want to see ugly faces, it's all good. We got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, go to the description box below so you can see the full channel schedule. We apologize. I know we're not hitting the schedule right now this month. This month is tough. It's end of the year. A lot of work that we have to do. I may be able to do PlayStation Mondays tomorrow, but it's going to be tough because basically I have this week to get a lot of work done. So anyway, we shall see. I'll see if I'll do my best. If not, I may do it Tuesday. But and of course, Caleones will try to do Nintendo Wednesdays this Wednesday. Also, Facebook page at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to forceinunison.wordpress.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, thank you again for joining us, and long live Nintendo. See you guys.